July 22, 2025. The day the music world really just went silent. John Michael Long, Ozzy Osbourne, the Prince of Darkness, gone at 76.
But the story that caught fire afterwards, I mean, it wasn't just about his music or his legacy.
No, it was about this one astonishing phone call that just shattered years of really bitter public fighting. It stopped everyone in their tracks.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're going through all the sources, the medical reports, the family's own podcast, the news clips, to figure out why one simple voicemail became the most viral story of the year.
And we're going to show you just how deeply distrustful the Osbourne family had become. They felt like they were under siege in that context.
Well, it's the key to this whole thing.
Exactly, because when you're braced for an attack, an act of genuine kindness can feel like a shockwave.
To really get that, you have to start with the man himself. I mean, the sheer willpower. The sources all point to one thing. Ozzy's final act, a promise he fulfilled just 17 days before the end. And the context of his passing is, it's so important. He died from a heart attack and acute myocardial infarction. But the contributing causes were coronary artery disease and his long public battle with Parkinson's. He was fighting for every single day.
And he used every last bit of that fight, didn't he? His death came just 17 days after his last ever live performance.
The Back to the Beginning concert, July 5, 2025. Back in his hometown, Birmingham.
And this wasn't just any show. It was a full, historic reunion of the original Black Sabbath lineup.
It was an act of pure defiance. I mean, think about it. Since 2019, he'd had a horrible fall, countless surgeries, pneumonia, sepsis.
And Parkinson's on top of all of it.
Exactly. He had every reason to stay home. Every single one.
But he'd made that promise back in 2022. He said, and I'm quoting here, I will get back on stage if a thing kills me. If I have to crawl up there, I will do it.
And he did. He also meticulously finished everything else on his list. The final memoir, Last Rites, a documentary. He was even planning a new album. He wrapped it all up.
Okay, but here's the part of the story that sets up everything else. The secret that the family was holding on to.
Right. This came out later. Sharon, Jack, and Kelly revealed that Ozzy was secretly hospitalized for 2 weeks before that final show.
2 weeks. So he basically checked himself out of the hospital to go play that gig.
He did. And the family was, as you can imagine, terrified of a media leak. They knew if the story got out, it could jeopardize the whole thing.
So they went into lockdown.
A complete and total lockdown. We're talking intense security measures. The sources say they were giving photographs of approved visitors to hospital staff.
Photos, like an approved list.
Exactly. And telling them to deny he was even there. This wasn't just caution. This was, a sign of extreme paranoia.
But it sounds like that paranoia was justified, wasn't it?
Sadly, yes. There was this one incident where a man came to the front desk asking for John Osbourne, Ozzy's birth name, and claimed he was his brother.
Wow.
The family was convinced he was a reporter trying to get a story by exploiting them.
So that's the mindset. Every knock at the door, every phone call is potentially transactional and exploitative. They're bracing for betrayal.
Yeah, and that's why what happened next hit them so hard, because it was the exact opposite of that. It was completely non-transactional.
All right, so let's jump forward to November of that year. A media firestorm kicks off, and it all comes from one episode of the Osbournes podcast. And the question everyone was asking was, who was the surprising person that reached out?
That's right. And the media sort of got confused, creating two different narratives about who the big surprise was.
Okay, so let's break it down. Candidate number one, the one that outlets like Parade magazine ran with, was King Charles III.
The king sent a lovely letter, which was actually hand-delivered, and Sharon was very complimentary, called him an amazing person.
And look, the king reaches out to the Prince of Darkness is a fantastic headline. But was it really a shock to the family?
Well, not really. Sharon explained that they're royalists, and, more importantly, that the king had reached out to Ozzy before over the years. For birthdays, when he was sick, it was consistent.
So it was a kind, respectful gesture from someone they already had a private, respectful relationship with. A headline surprise, but not an emotional one.
Exactly. It was kind, but it was expected, which makes for a perfect contrast with the other gesture.
If you're loving these deep dives into what really happens behind the headlines, make sure you're subscribed, because you won't want to miss where this story goes next.
The second surprise came from someone with whom they had a very active, very recent, and very bitter public feud.
This is where it gets really interesting. From "you're a loser" to tears. We have to talk about the feud to understand the shock.
The history here is long, and it's documented. The biggest flashpoint was probably 2019. Donald Trump used Crazy Train in a political video without asking.
And the Osbournes did not hold back. They issued a public cease and desist, which is standard, but then they went further.
Oh, much further. They publicly mocked him, suggesting he should ask people like Kanye West, Kid Rock, Ted Nugent for their music instead. A very clear political line in the sand.
And this wasn't new. Sharon had been a vocal critic for years, calling him a narcissist back in 2016.
She was, and what's crucial here, what a lot of the reporting missed, is how current this feud was. This wasn't old history.
Right. Just months before Ozzy died, Sharon went after Trump again on her podcast for his comments about John McCain.
She was furious. She said directly into the microphone, addressing Trump, "You're a loser," and she added that he wasn't even a Boy Scout.
So the hostility was fresh, it was raw, and it was very, very public. Which brings us to that November podcast episode.
Yes. Jack Osbourne is the one who brings it up. He prefaces it by saying, love him or hate him, and then he plays a voicemail from Donald Trump.
And the message itself, what did it say?
It was fascinatingly simple, completely apolitical, no mention of himself, really. It was just pure condolence.
He called Ozzy amazing, unique in every way.
But the line that apparently just cut right through all the defenses was when he spoke directly to Sharon's grief. He said, "It's a tough thing. I know how close you were."
Wow. Just a moment of pure human empathy.
And it just broke her. The sources say she was left in tears listening to it from this man she had just, publicly destroyed.
And her immediate reaction was to try and separate it from politics, saying, "I'm not American, I can't vote."
But then she says the line that explains everything. She says, "He wanted nothing from us. Nothing."
He wanted nothing from us. That ties it all back, doesn't it? Back to the hospital, the fear of reporters, the paranoia.
It's the whole story in one sentence. They lived in a world where everyone wanted something, a photo, a quote, a piece of their grief.
And here comes this person, her recent public enemy, offering simple sympathy with no strings attached, no angle, no transaction.
And the psychological relief of that, of not having to be on guard for even a moment, it overwhelmed years of political anger. It was exhaustion meeting unexpected decency.
And that's why this story went viral, not the King's letter. The surprise wasn't the person who called. It was the collision of brutal public politics with a moment of pure, simple human kindness.
Exactly. It showed that even at the highest levels of fame and political division, the shared experience of loss can just force a pause. It can override years of hostility.
And that's what we try to do here. Extract those essential human nuggets from the stack of sources we get.
So the final thought for you to take away is this. If a simple, heartfelt condolence can cut through years of animosity like that, what does it tell us about the difference between the public faces we all wear and the private humans we are when faced with loss?
You've been listening to The Deep Dive, where we uncover the stories shaping culture, technology, and public life. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the stories you need to know.